a separate portal for social stock exchange. It allows the social enterprises to get connected with the capital market, which provides them three key advantages. It enhances their credibility, it improves their visibility, and it also provides them an alternate source of funding by way of listing on the social stock exchange. And this process has been on for the last 3.5 years now, and almost about 150 NGOs have registered on social stock exchange, and 14 of them have also gone in for the listing, raising in an aggregate 42 crores so far. Of course, many other applications are in the pipeline, both for registration as well as for listing. Now, the first requirement when a social enterprise wants to list on social stock exchange is that they must submit a draft fundraising document to stock exchanges. Now, what is all this? How is it created? What information is required to be involved, included in the DFRD? We have learned panelists here to talk about that. So, to begin with, I would request Madam Harsha to share her perspectives and indicate and tell us what is DFRD, looking at it from the perspective of a practitioner, a social impact assessor, and she has also been in close connect with some of the NGOs who have gone in for registration and listing. So let's hear out Madam Harsha with regard to draft fundraising document, its importance, its contents, as well as what generally is this all about. Over to Harsha, ma'am, please.
So, first of all, thank you so much, Dr. S.K.
Thank you,
Gupta,
ma'am.
sir. Yeah,
Thank you.
the context is, set very well. Why the particular this session is very important for all of us, and the high regard the sir has given to both of us with regard to the, topic and what we are doing. So, thank you so much once again to sir.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
when we come to the topic, the draft fundraising document. It is not a kind of any journal document just to prepare and to submit with the exchange. It is a document which going to set example, and it is going to set a context as a NGO, as a non-profit organization where you are going to spend the money which you are going to collect from a exchange platform. Because when I'm talking about social stock exchange, the platform which is a bridge to get money from different sources, so that source when we are using to get a social money, to the social capital, how we are going to use that, the document should speak itself. So when we are talking about draft fundraising document, it has some value, it has some the basics that we need to take care when we are drafting. Just to add on, recently the master circular was issued on a date. Let me share the screen also. So it was issued on 19th January 2026, where various changes was introduced by SEBI. And the changes are very important for all of us to know. Like if I talk about the one unified social SSC framework was also introduced, which are going to be future filing for the fellow master circular is maintained. Then a fundraising through ZCZP instrument. So it is being explained here and mentioned that for NPOs, ZCZP will be the only permitted public fundraising instrument, and it is be the only option to raise funds. When we are using the ZCZP instrument, so it will be in a dematerialized form. It is a non-transferable, and the minimum issue size also mentioned here as a 50 lakh rupees. The third important change, which is mentioned in this circular, it was with respect to the draft fundraising document, which is the topic of today's session. Uh, so it was the change was the mandatory public disclosure for 21 days on SSC website. So when you will send your DFRD to the exchange, it will be open on platform for 21 days. SSC will provide the observations within 30 days, and which you need to incorporate before opening up the issue. And there is very strong emphasis that when you are submitting your DFRD, that DFRD should be a very truthful, it should be a complete, and decision should be used, with useful disclosure. So that we will discuss in a phase manner in disclosure with the circular. There is also emphasis with respect to the enhanced disclosures and the impact discipline. So there is a emphasis on annual impact report, and it's with respect to the mandatory and must be assessed by the social impact assessor. And with respect to a strong linkage with required to SDG. So we have seen some reports where linkage with the SDG was not there, and with national and state priority linkage was not there. So recommendation is there that it should be linked with SDG, it should be linked with the national and state priorities, and theory of change also should be there. And then the tighten eligibility of the NPO. So although it was previously there, but again mentioned like minimum 3-year existence should be there, 50 lakh spent, 10 lakh funding history, valid 12A, 12B, 10, 23C. So it is again mentioned that these are the mandatory requirement that required. So these are the certain things that mentioned in the circular of 19th January 2026. And with respect to the draft fundraising document, so let me share my screen. I'll directly come on the requirement with respect to the draft fundraising document. And I request Kaushal sir also, wherever he finds suitable, please, add your comments as well. So this is the point, like minimum initial disclosure requirement for NPOs raising fund through issuance of the ZCZP. So here mentioned like what exactly required to add in the documents containing the following minimum disclosures. So like vision, when you are adding as a minimum disclosure your organizational activities, intervention programs in line with aim object that is stated in the constitution, your target segment, whom you are targeting, the reach to accomplish the planned activity, the clear identification should be there, your strategy as a NGO, what strategy you are having, then your governance body, the management, who are your management, the key managerial staffs, the charge of the program, fundraising, marketing, communication, finance. So you can always see the few, previous draft fundraising document, how is being prepared, how they have drafted, how the, planning is being given. So that will give you a more idea about then operations, their physical existence, where they are operating, then their financial parts, their last 3 years of the finance. Then it's come to the credibility, social impact. So the details of the past social impact as per the existing practice of the NPO. Then it's come to the risk part. So it is most important, and I'll show you one of the recent DFRD that is being submitted by the Swadesh Foundation. So they have, submitted a very detailed risk metrics analysis in terms of the internal risk and external risk as an NPO, what kind of the risk they can foresee. So this kind, risk analysis you need to submit. So these are the certain, aspect we need to cover up. I'll show you one of the recent DFRD now. Just a minute. So this is the recent one, the second recent one, the Swadesh Foundation DFRD, which is being submitted on November 13, 2025. Last one is submitted by the Unnati Foundation in a December month. So they are largest, we can say, out of all NGOs who are working and the social stock exchange platform using for the fundraising. So this is kind of the cover page. First of all, just they are giving a information with respect to their registered office, email, and the website. Now the first section, it comes here like journal definition and abbreviation, that I'm skipping right now here. Then forward-looking statement. The second section is important, the risk factor. So here in a risk factor, they have given a complete, analysis in terms of internal risk factor as well as the external risk factor, what kind of the risks they can foresee with respect to their foundation. Like you can see as a first one that as a non-profit organization, a reduction or a discontinuation of the donation or a grant we receive may have an adverse impact on the operation of our company. So this is something they can foresee. They mentioned that we as a non-profit organization are registered in Companies Act. Accordingly, our operations are highly dependent on receipt of donation. The donation and the income recognized by company in financial year is this amount. While our company routinely engaged in outreach program, there is a possibility that we will not be able to receive a further donation or grant. And that can be, maybe a reason to discontinue in a near future. So that is one of the risks they mentioned as a primary risk of first risk. Then again, second, they mention as a change in financial position of our donor. So the person who is giving us a donation, if that person financial position is changing, that can also impact our discontinuation of donation or the grant received by the company. Then change in applicable law governing corporate social responsibility policy. Right now they are receiving CSR funds a lot from the companies. So there is a regular flow of the donation CSR funds. If by the Companies Act there is any change with respect to the CSR funds, that can also impact their funds. So that again change, risk they had mentioned here. Fourth, failure to retain, attract professionals on impact of their operations. Then various operational risks can also be there. Fraud risk also they mentioned here. So as a NGO, we need to think upon, we need to, have a process there that what kind of the risk a NGO can face in a near future. On an internal side as well as on an external risk. Like these are the internal risks. When it's come to the external part, just a minute. So these are the external risk factors which they mentioned, like we are subject to the regulatory and a legal risk which may adversely affect our business. So there are certain, regulation which are affecting the company business. So if there is negative, some rules or regulations are coming, so that can impact their business. Any civil unrest, terrorist attack, that can again impact them. Any adverse weather, that can impact them. Community intent, participation, that can impact them. So these are the external risk factors. So that we need to think upon. Accordingly, we need to make a list of external risk also and internal risk also. Then it's come a section third, which is the introduction part, where we start, making a disclosures of the company, the foundation itself. So it's a general information where we talk about what exactly we do, what we are, what we do. So like here you can see about the Swadesh Foundation, they have given all the details when they incorporated their registered information, where they are registered, who are the compliance officer, the liability of the members, so it is limited by the shares. Then the board of directors list, who are the chief executive officer, then their details of the key intermediaries. So for every listing, there should be a key intermediaries party, so that details we need to mention. Their auditors, their legal counsel, stock exchange, operations, underwriting, all details here will come. Then minimum subscription. So they are making disclosure here that 75 minimum issue size we are expecting here. All designated intermediaries. Then issue program. Then their capital structure, what capital structure they are having in their balance sheet. So all complete details you will find here, their top 10 shareholders. And most important, the object of issue for the funds which they are raising. So they are raising the 20 CR fund for through ZCZP. So what is the purpose to raise this fund? Where they are going to use that? So object of the issue they are explaining here. So these are the object of issues. Like safe hygiene, household sanitization 41%, educational scholarship, vocational scaling, and program implementation and monitoring evaluation. Percentage, they mentioned that in this percentage, we are going to spend this amount. Then in detail, all the project title they have mentioned, and you will find the complete detail about the project, what is the objective and how they are going to spend in a particular area and particular manner. When I'm talking about the objective of the program, here Exchange is expecting you to give a complete whole detail about the project, about the objective of the program, so that they can understand that how this amount going to be spent in a particular tenure in particular manner. Then theory of the change. So all 5 pillars we need to mention here. So it's complete detail you will find here. This is the detailed explanation that full maximum I think space in out of 211 pages is with respect to the object of program. Then when we are explaining about the object of the program, we also need to explain about what kind of the potential negative outcome can be, and what mitigation strategy we are keeping in hand. Because it's not necessarily that we will have only positive outcome. There is a possibility that potential negative outcome can also be. So that potential negative outcome we need to list out, and mitigation strategy also we need to give there. And for that, the assumptions also we need to list out here. A limitation risk, if anything, so that also we need to list here. This is the part 3, part C, where the reach indicator, depth and inclusion we need to mention. The key performance indicators. Part D is the implementation planning and the costing. So we need to give a complete schedule of the implementation of input and activities. So for the theory of change, there are the 5 pillars that we consider. First 2 are the input and activities, which is which includes your costing and the planning, and rest 3 is the results, the outcome, output and the impact. So first 2, there is with respect to the planning and costing, we need to give a complete detail, how we are going to plan that. So the quarter to quarter timeline they have given, and how the amount they are going to spend that. This is a statement of overall budget. So per unit cost breakdown they have given for all the activities, specifically for 4 activities, and the rationale behind the per unit cost breakdown.
Right, madam, in the interest of time, can you kindly share this document in the chat box? In the meantime, I would request Mr. Kaushal to provide practical insights as to what is that the exchange looks for in a good draft fundraising document. And we'll come back to Madam Harsha subsequently when we have a Q&A session where the queries from the participants would be duly taken care of.
Yeah. So, sir, all fundraising documents are available on the exchange itself. Participant
Okay,
can,
okay,
always download whatever document they want to
okay,
read and
okay,
understand.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So over to Mr. Kaushal now, please.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, Harshaji, for making my task bit easier because you explained the entire thing. You opened this fundraising document also to give a kind of glimpse of how it looks like. So when we talk about this document is just not only for fundraising, but NPOs should understand that this is a kind of testament and this is a kind of branding material also for them. That because as Sir also explained that once they submit this document, this goes on our website for 21 days of commenting, right? So as a donor or as a kind of like a different stakeholder, if I'm going through that document, I also see that how well the project is designed. I also see that what all works that the NPO is doing, right? And all sorts of credentials and disclosures and different documents that I'm going through. So as an NGO, this is my prime responsibility, that how well curated that entire document is, from look and feel to the content wise as well, so that also when the exchange compliance team or regulatory team goes through that document during that due diligence, it should attract very few questions and queries, so that they receive the in principle approval very very soon, right? Because that's how it comes in. Few other things that I am going to talk about here, as you rightly mentioned about Swadesh Foundation's uh, fundraising document, and we all saw that how extensive these informations are, from risk and mitigation point of view to defining all the potential negative outcomes and all those things. So if we see the first five and the last 10, say for example, or the documents come arriving now for fundraising, there is a huge difference. And those differences are mainly in terms of how well defined your projects are. Because initially it was just a kind of one header saying that object of the project, or and that is where like people used to write about the project, giving some sort of like KPIs, some numbers that they are going to achieve, some risks and all those things, but it was not well defined. And that is where somehow, if we see social impact assessors, they also used to face challenges how to evaluate the project. Because initial phases, the main idea was that how NPOs get a sort of flexibility, so that they learn quickly about the entire thing and they quickly turn their registration on board, and then like they come up with a document and they raise fund for their project. Now things have been a bit like more systematic, if we see the projects after fifth, seventh, and gradually it is going to be more quality oriented. So if we see that what all we have incorporated, and basically the idea is that when somebody is submitting their project, and after that if the social impact assessor is also evaluating that project outcome, it should be aligned, because they should also get all the content to design the evaluation, having their right approach, right methodology to see the whether has been achieved, outcomes have been achieved or not. And that is where, whenever now, like whenever we have had a word with like some NPOs and they are in the process of writing that fundraising document, so we just don't only ask about, tell us about the project, its rationale based on your desk research or secondary research, if you have put in some baseline or not. Then objectives of the project, certainly these are the key information that they have to provide. Scope they have to talk about, as you mentioned about theory of change and logical framework model. So along with that, you have to also talk about the scale of operation, that is a part of that, because what location, at what extent you are doing, what level you are doing, and whether those a small or big level is equally important to derive those outcomes in a very meaningful and measurable and verifiable manner. That is what we look for. Then, when we talk about the logical framework of the project, then we define the entire, impact statement to how their overall outcome is linked with that, and then that goes down to intermediate outcomes. Then they talk about the outputs and activities, and as it was mentioned, we also talk about, like, potential unintended negative outcomes that we call puno. And when designing this logical framework, most of NPOs are aware that we also talk about assumptions, different limitations and risks that we are talking about. And then we also mention about the source and verifiable indicator. And then we also look for sustainability plan or strategies for long-term impact, and assigning the project cost. Certainly, like, costing also has a major role, where one side it is related to all the project outcomes, and second side is, like, other project costs like admin, M&E, knowledge management, personnel, and all those things that we talk about. So these are very much, whether it is social stock exchange or other platform to raise fund, these are very, well practiced, methods to write a project. And then, very important thing, because one when we talk about social stock exchange, mostly we connect this with outcome based philanthropy, because we focus on outcomes more, and that should lead to impact. So that is why key performance indicators become very, very important here. So KPIs are important, and we also have to see that those KPIs are at what level, whether it's outcome level or output level, and then how it is, related to the baseline. And when we talk about different intervals of the project, how it is moving ahead, and how this project is adding those value to these KPIs. Then when we talk about the implementation planning and costing, so we take care of all sorts of cost with rationale, with kind of realistic figures that we recently talked about. And we also might put in some sort of contingency cost, because we know there are some unforeseen, expense heads, so some bit of percentage can be put towards that, so that it can be explained further. And most important thing, because as we know that if one NPO is coming for 1 crore, I'm just assuming that, X percentage of fund. And we all know that the minimum subscription is required is 75%, and one NPO is just raising 80%, and they have mentioned that they are going to make all these numbers, these are the outcome numbers or output numbers they are going to achieve. But they have raised 80%, so they have to also, like, they will relook at the all those numbers, because those were all at when they are able to raise 100%, but now the actual figure is 80%. So that is where we are also expecting that they submit one solution implementation plan kind of thing, that is mentioned already in uh, we call it guiding framework on logical model for integrating theory of change in projects to be listed in social stock exchange. And this guiding framework should be well integrated, or should be a sort of reflection of the project design that you are, showcasing, or kind of like submitting to exchanges for fundraising. So that is one, like, some sort of indicative solution implementation plan you will be submitting, that these are the scenarios that if the uh, fund raised is not 100% and it's less than that, how different changes are happening in the project design, especially in terms of outcome numbers, and what is the rationale of that. So those will be anyways, like, because you are showcasing something that one donor or investor should know about it, that how my expectations will be like hit by a little lesser fund raised for this project. And similarly, like, we might be coming up with next changes where we will say that, once the project is listed, then probably you can come up with a kind of actual solution implementation plan, where you will say that, okay, so my actual fundraise is 78%. And based on this, these are the changes that we are proposing, and this is what we will be able to achieve based on these rationale. So those all things will happen, and basis like certainly there will be some approval attached to that. So these are some kind of like improvements based on our learnings we have been doing, so that gradually we will be able to make social stock exchange as a sort of robust platform. And over a period of time, through this we will also have a real sense check about price discovery of different projects and a lot of things, which is very long term goal, I would say. But these are the major things that we have been suggesting. Some of the suggestions we are also making, just not around this fundraising document, but some other parallel activities that is also required for the NPOs to go through. It's not about just creating this document and then submitting it and then waiting for 21 days and seeing that if we have received some comments or queries. But simultaneously, there are so many other stakeholders also you have to engage with, right? And the most important stakeholder for you is donor, right? So that is where like we also suggest that while you are submitting your document and during those 21 days, why don't you send a kind of email to all the donors and all the people you know, right, saying that this is the project we are uh, we have designed, we are going to raise fund through social stock exchange, and these are 21 days where we are inviting comments and inputs from different stakeholders. So we are approaching you. If you have any comments, if you can add some value, so you're most welcome. So directly you are not asking for funding, but indirectly if they are interested in the cause, one way is like you are letting them know it's a sort of your the reason and opportunity of branding of your cause, and also like your NPO, what you the work you are doing. But same time, if they are impressed by your DFRD, and if they are submitting some comments also, it means that they are the ones potential donors who can put in some money in your project. So once you receive your in principle approval, or before that only, once they submit that, you can ask them directly, would you like to fund this project? Because you are also one of the eligible donors for this project. And as you liked it, we would request you, and we will expect also that some donation you can do to this project, because the minimum size is now 1,000 rupees. So that is one thing. But in the meantime, once you submit the fundraising document, you get in touch with RTA registrar, and they will be like they will be the one who will get you in touch with the depositories. You will get some you will need some ISIN number that is required for opening the escrow account, because escrow account is required to collect all those donations. And once it is beyond 75%, after checking and balancing all those things, after your issue is closed, that time only it will be transferred to your project current account. Because meanwhile, if one NPO, just hypothetically saying, if they're not able to collect 75%, then the money will be refunded to all those donors. And just in case if they receive 110%, 120%, in that case also, on proportionate basis, it will be refunded to different donors. Then there is other method that we say, that first come first serve types method, that all the NPOs put in their fundraising document only, and they call it like once if X amount is done, then the issue will be closed, or issue will stop accepting any fund. However, till now we have not seen any such arrangement. Most of the people, they have come up with this proportionate basis only, because so that you can also showcase saying that our project has been oversubscribed, right? And that is a good method of marketing your NPO, that we came up with this, and we have been like oversubscribed or something like that. So that is where like these are the stakeholders. One is RTA that I talked about. They will get you in touch with depositories. Same time, you will also talk to different banks. So they are the ones responsible for opening your escrow account. Now, though, like since we have UPI mechanism also, so for that you have to have those bankers to provide you a sponsor banking. They will become a sponsor bank, so that those discount brokers will be able to, like, allow you to collect funds through UPI. So right now Fires and Zerodha both have enabled that, and we are also nudging to other discount brokers so that they also enable, and it becomes a kind of true philanthropy in a very democratized way. Because the idea is not how much fund one NPO receives, but idea is also to have this opportunity to come on public platform. Because most of the NPOs are facing one big challenge, which is visibility challenge, right? Say for example, if some NPO is working in Nasik, right? So Nashik, they may be like, known to their vicinity, but not at a kind of like, the district level, or their like, state level or national level or something like that. Like, except few, right? If we talk about like, top 50, top 100 NPOs, where we are a country of lakhs of NGOs. That visibility crisis is a big challenge for NPOs. But this platform also provides that opportunity, that if you write a good project, and you have a right approach to reaching out to different donors and different stakeholders, it will give you that platform where, if you are based out of Kashmir, and through this exchanges platform, chances are very high that you will receive some funding from Kanyakumari also. Because if we see the number of investors that NSE itself has is more than 12.2 crores, and they belong to almost all the 100% like, pin codes possible, right?
Mm.
So that's how, like, the visibility can be created, and these are all like, in indirect benefits. Because till now, if you're going to raise fund, your proposal is only read by your funder, right? So it's within the house, right? But now it's a kind of like, it has also been democratized. Like, anybody can go through your proposal. Maybe like, 10 year down the line, if one NGO is coming for its 15th project or 20th or 50th project fundraising, a donor can also have an access to their first project they have raised a fund 10 years ago. So now they can also see your journey, they can also see a lot of things. So things are very much transparent, and this transparency is giving that opportunity to build our capacity, just not in terms of implementing project or talking about our outcome, but how we can set a kind of right sort of narrative through these documents, right? How we can improve our storytelling skills through these documents, so that one donor reading out through your project, and they are convinced, even if they don't have money, they will borrow money to fund this project because they are so much touched by your project. So all those things are there. And we can talk a lot of things about writing about this project. But good news is, like, all these things are already being done by most of the NPOs. They know what theory of change is, they know how logical framework is, and all those things. Every different platform has its own template, and there are different, like, wireframes. We are also trying how to keep it as simple as possible, so that we will make it more robust. NPOs will also have a very quick understanding and clear understanding of what they are required to be writing. However, even if, like, if they feel that there is something which can be like further, strengthened, that time they can reach out to us. We can also look into their concept note, their projects, and all those documents. We can also suggest certain things, and it can be some sort of like, joint effort. After that also, once you submit your document, and during those 21 days of commenting and beyond also, our compliance team goes through that. They read through each line and each word, and if they look for some more information, some more documentation, they always comes back to you and asking for all those information, some rational justifications. Because it's a very constructive process. It's not like that if something is not satisfactory, you will not be given chance to talk about it. And same time, we understand that this is not a kind of like, uh, this is a kind of joint effort, and every stakeholder is equally important to make this platform successful. So considering that donor outreach is a bit like, seem to be a bit challenging, because the kind of donors allowed on social stock exchange are totally new cohort of donors, or different cohort of donors, where the exposure to all those NPOs were very less. And those donors are very much time sensitive. They are so busy in making money, we can call it, that they might not have time to talk in length and breadth about your project. So basis that, we have also created some pitching templates, that how you can talk about your project. Because now things are going from more qualitative to quantitative, more story based to number based, or measurement based. And same time, it's also becoming less like proposal, more like investment memo. That if one donor is giving you such money, they will look for some very compelling numbers. So basis all those things, we have created that templates also, and that will give you some idea in how to write it further and make it as a part of the DFRD. So once one NPO gets themselves registered, and then they start writing their fundraising document, that time we have a kind of detailed call, not this kind of just 10, 15, 20 minutes
Yeah.
of discussion. This is only sort of food for thought we are talking about, or we are talking about some pitch thing only, that how it is done. It's just introduction. Then we have a kind of detailed discussion, and like we are always there to support just in case if they require anything. So these are some of the things I wanted to mention. I will hand it over to sir. And
Thank you so much,
yeah,
Kaushalji. Very knowledgeable, very useful information provided to the participants of this webinar. Now we open the floor, and in case any participant has any question, any query, we have two learned co-panelists along with us here on this webinar. So we'll be very, very pleased to take up a few questions or queries that the participants of this program may have.
Yeah,
So
thank you very
any
much.
query, any questions, please? Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah. Myself, Ajay from Nagpur, UR
Yes,
Rural
sir.
Association.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so actually, Dr. Gupta ji, so we had a very long talking about the professional development program. So I was participated
Yes, sir.
in
Very good.
2024, but
Very
still the
good.
certificate is awaiting from your side. It's
I will
okay.
look into that, sir. I will look into
Yeah,
that. Sure.
very good presentation by the Kaushal ji, and really I appreciate the each and every contents of the presentation, because since the YRA, that is the UR Rural Association, is already registered under the SSE, and I
Okay.
am looking after the fundraising manager over in the UR Rural Association. So just I am trying to get the funds from through SSE. And so
Hmm.
I didn't have the clarity, but now from this presentation, so I got the very much clarity. So how to approach to the funders in the 21 days or beyond that or before that. So getting the total insights of the all the processes. So I really appreciate, and definitely from this year onwards. So we'll raising the funds through the SSE, and because I am looking after all the fundraising activity, designing the
Okay.
proposals to the different funders, to the different international donors, and the CSRs. Just I am
Very
just
good.
one question is there. Is the international funding agencies, they are applicable to this portal, or only the
no,
corporates for India?
these are not allowed, Ajay, because
Okay.
FCRA is not allowed. An idea behind that is to make our nation as self-sufficient as possible.
Okay.
Because there is always a kind of has been a kind of like tendency towards giving with all of us.
Mhm.
We always give in different ways, and we call it like we give our first chapati also to our cows, right? Household cow, or
Yeah.
like so that's the kind of culture we are into, right? And
Okay.
once
Okay.
it comes to a democratized way of philanthropy, where you and I can also contribute from as small as 1,000 rupees, right?
Hmm.
So let's see that how it can create a kind of different effect to different social problems. That is one. And second thing is if we talk about like, all the external FCRA and all those things, from initially only, I mean, till now it's not applicable, not allowed. And this is one of the ideas. And uh, there are certain assumptions also that you can think of, like if you come up with 1 crore size project, and then if you divide that in just 1,000 rupees, there will be 10,000 rupees, 10,000 people you have to mobilize, right? Certainly we cannot do it 100% with all those, I mean, 100% retail donation is also a kind of far-fetched dream till now. Maybe someday we will see that traction also. But through social stock exchange, other idea is we want to, create an example. Considering that till now most of the countries trying this social stock exchange platform, they have become very limited, or they have faltered in the entire thing. Some are closed also. But now
Okay.
we see that we are building that traction. And I must say that one challenge we are facing right now is 12A, and that has come after 5 years. And that is where you may not be seeing some issuances opening and listing on social stock exchange, because regulation says that your 12A should be eligible for
Yes.
applicable, valid for next 12 months, which
Yeah.
is not the case, right? So that is one of the hurdles we are facing right now. But if I talk about the pipeline, we have more than 18 projects going to mobilize 80 crore, approximately 80 crore, and many are in the design phase also. So a lot of things are there, and we are seeing that how we can be self-sufficient, how we can be like, we ourselves can take care of social welfare, costs. So let's see how it happens. But that is one of the ideas behind not having FCRA on social stock exchange.
Okay, okay, that's good. Good. One more question, Kaushalji.
Yeah.
Once we submit the proposals to the SSC, so how
Mhm.
long the team will cooperate us, means beyond these 21 days or something else? Because
It
see,
happens
there
that
are the
within 21 days also you receive some query letters from our side, some
okay.
questions, some clarifications to have. And then you can say if it is a well written project, then normally it takes 6 to 8 weeks, we can say,
Okay.
45 days approximately. And by that time, once one NPO receives their in principle approval, they can open their issuance within next few days only, provided they have all the funders set. Because see, practically if you see other platforms also, Mainboard or SME, they also look for some anchor investors, and they keep those people also aligned when they open their issuance. So here the idea is to have those anchor donors also well placed before that, because no NPO would like to fail by having by this under subscription, right? So that is where, like, they ensure that they have at least 75% fundraised beforehand, commitment from different potential donors and eligible donors. And then remaining, they can do it during that period also. They can have some road shows, or doing some do their cold calling also, depending on how they can collect through retail funding. So that's the kind of
Okay.
approach. And certainly once it will go on floor, then we will have a kind of wider and more detailed discussion about all those planning, that how you can meet out to different, like, funders and donors. And believe me, like, even if you are like, able to raise 50 lakh rupee, which is the minimum amount, through that also, this platform actually enables us, all of us in fact, to know all the best people in this social sector. And that's the beauty of this platform. And that will certainly like help you raising fund through different other platforms also, like CSR and all.
Yeah.
Because it's also a kind of like trust and credibility building that certainly leads to your brand building. And once you go to different platforms and say that you have done it on social stock exchange, they also feel very relaxed that due diligence is not a question. So they feel
Okay.
very comfortable funding you. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Kaushalji. I also
Thank
got
you.
a very
Thank you,
much
Ajay
clarity
ji.
about
Thank
that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Any
other
other
query?
question?
Any other question, please?
Kaushal, I have a question. I'm Jitendra here from Nagpur,
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm I'm coordinating the federation that is Mahavan in Maharashtra. It's a federation of social organizations, and also working with URO association. I have one query in mind. The registration on SSC of any organization is valid for 1 year, right?
Yeah.
If I am not wrong.
Yes,
correct me.
it's for 1 year.
Now, if I do a DRFD and I do not, I'm undersubscribed for the entire year, what happens to that DFRD? Right.
No, so nothing happens. Basically, I tell you that one thing, after
Will
1
it
year,
also
you can renew your registration, and as long as one NPO has the intent of fundraising, they can also be like extended their registration after 2 years as well. Third thing, as you said, that if you are under subscribed, right? So first thing, the target is to make it at least possible up to 75%, right? Reaching that 75%. Just in case if it does not happen, it is not hampering, anything. You can again come back with your revised DFRD, and you can go through the process and you can get this done. So that
I
does
have
not
to
affect anything. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Just sorry to interrupt. That means it's fine. I'll re-register. I'll once again register on SSC, but I have to once again submit a revised DFRDA.
Yeah, you will have to submit
Am I
a revised one. Yeah, revised one.
revised DFRDA?
Yeah.
Okay. It will not be continued. The earlier one will also lapse. That
No,
is
but
what you have to
sir,
say.
I tell you one more thing. The kind of time it gets, after in principle approval, the validity of that approval is 6 months. So within 6 months, it's very much doable to get at least 75% commitment. Yeah, and
Okay.
many organizations have done it.
Have you
Many.
come across any?
Yeah.
That's what
Please.
I was.
No, please go ahead. So till
Do
now,
you
sir, I
have
tell
any
you.
such example where this?
Yes, there are many. I tell
Okay.
you, there was one NPO, because let's not talk about success cases also only, but failure cases as well. Not failure, I would say, but we'll say that they were not able to manage more than 68% of funds. So that is when they decided we will not open the issuance.
Okay.
Yeah. So in a way that was failure, because certainly as an NPO, I will also think that if I'm opening the issuance, and that time if it is not meeting that 75%, that might be a kind of awkward situation for me as well, right? That we were not able to mobilize that much. So that is when they did not open the issuance. And that was a bit disheartening, but we could not do anything. Yeah, Monica ji, you have some question.
Yeah, just following this question. One, are there limited days that the people can subscribe to the
Yes.
ZC?
Yeah, so
And,
issue second, please.
Yeah, so when you're saying that they were aware that they have not like they will not be able to get 100% or even a 75%, they did not go out with the issue. So is the organization aware backstage that who is going to fund the issue? And if that is the case, then are we really like just bringing the two together in a very open manner? Because then
No,
it's
so
like
see,
a lot of back-end work has been done to calculate whether we will get that
so what
amount or
happens,
not.
I tell you the overall, quick brief on this. One is when one NPO decides to open the issuance, it goes for minimum 3 days to 10 days. And further, it can be extended to 10 more days. So 3 to 20 days, you can say, is the period when you have to get all the subscriptions done. I mean, all the donations done. Second is so normally in normal fundraising side, how it happens that you write a proposal, or you respond to some kind of request for proposal, or some sort of invitation to proposal, and you submit that. Here on social stock exchange, what happens? The moment you go to different donors, you list them out and you pitch about your project. One biggest advantage here is you can say that, you know, we are registered on social stock exchange. We are, and then we are planning to list our project there. Maybe our project is under the, you know, review period, or we have received the in principle approval already, and that is the biggest credibility USP for that project. And that is where you get all the inroads to all those donors, and they allow you to pitch the project. That is one. Second is, like, you know, they might say that I can fund you separately, the other person will fund you separately, but the biggest problem there is, like, you know, there will be 10 funders and 10 different templates of due diligence and audit. That is where, like, the team may not get sufficient time to implement that project. And if it is different, like, you know, in a fragmented way, probably that small size project will also not be able to create that much outcome and impact. So that is where, if we club one project, design one project, and bringing all those donors at one platform, where there will be one single, like, you know, due diligence by exchange, then there will be one common impact assessment by the impact assessor certified by NISM, and then, like, you know, which is a SEBI linked organization as well. So this will work as a kind of comfort. This will work as a kind of less time in documentation, more time in on implementation on ground, so that an NPO will also be able to create better outcome in field, rather than, like, you know, just adhering to all those documentation stuff and audit stuff. So that is one. So certainly, like, you know, NPO has to go out and find their funders, right? And the moment, you know, you say that, you know, it is through social stock exchange, there are certain, like, you know, apprehensions, and all those are positive apprehensions only if they are, like, you know, caring for your cause. They will like to listen about your project. And as I said that there are some divide when we talk about how to design those pitching documents. So that is where, like, you know, as an exchange also, we are not just giving you one platform, we are also giving you bit of and a lot of, like, you know, capacity building, that how you will be able to tap to new kind of donors for your project. And there's so many examples by now, because many of NPOs were not at all confident that they are coming to raise fund on social stock exchange, but they have hardly any donor who belong to that eligible donor, you know, cohort. And that is where they started from zero. That gave them two kind of main benefits. One, they were able to raise fund to the minimum level or complete 100%. And second was, like, you know, they also got to know, like, you know, who all are, like, you know, thought leaders in the kind of industry, who are the ones who have great intent to support different social causes. And that is how it's also your network which has expanded their network. So that is how, like, it is giving us new learnings. And as it is a new platform, and it's a lot of terminologies and nomenclature you might not be aware of before, but once you learn it, it will become a kind of very, very, like, you know, kind of exciting journey for you as well.
Just a following question. So when you're
Yeah.
talking about the cohort of donors, what
Yeah.
is the criteria of empaneling that cohort or the entry of that donor
So
profile?
not impaneling, but I tell you there are three kinds of donors. One is retail donor, right? When we talk about this, you and I can also donate. We just need to have one Demat account, and we can donate that through our banking platform or UPI platform if it is there, right? Second is we call it retail donors 1,000 to 2 lakh rupee. Beyond 2 lakh, if as an individual you are giving that, I mean donating, you will come under non-institutional donors. Yeah, so those are HNIs, ultra HNIs, or big philanthropists. And third is institutional donors. So in institutional donor, if one corporate is giving beyond their CSR budget, CSR money, because right now CSR is not allowed. Yeah, so if they are doing that, they will be known as institutional donors. So these are the three, you know, types of donors who can donate on social stock exchange.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sir, you are on mute.
Thank you so much. I was
Any
just
more
thanking.
queries, questions from anyone, any participant, please?
Hello, I'm Neeta speaking.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Neetaji.
So we are registered under BSc, but
Mhm.
not under NSC. So is it mandatory to register under both?
Not at all. Not at all. If you are registered there, you can read, I mean, you can do all these activities there as well.
Okay. We tried to register under NSC, but BSc, whatever documents were given, that got
Mm.
approved very easily. But NSC
Mm.
did not take in those same documents, and they have a different kind of approval system.
No, so we have kind of very thorough due diligence. Sometimes we cut sorry figure as well, but we cannot compromise on that. To be honest, and when somebody's mic is on, can you please?
You're getting some echo, please. Yeah,
Yeah. So
now
I was
fine.
saying that, see, there may be different approaches of different, I mean, both the exchanges, but when it comes to NSE, we have a very thorough due diligence. You might receive like, multiple letters, multiple queries. And the idea is to have, the proper, I mean, very thorough so that at the end of the day, trust and credibility is very important, right? And if you see the exchanges, we call it, we have only one product, which is trust, and that is how one person based out of some place, like, in some village, is investing in some company where he has never visited the place even, but doing that because he trusts or she trusts that, kind of due diligence of the exchange, and that is how they are ensured that this return on their investment will be there, right? The financial return. Similarly, on social stock exchange, when we talk about return, so that is where we like to be, as diligent as possible, and maybe that can be one of the reasons why you receive
Yeah.
multiple queries and in different templates. So that we are very much kind of mindful of.
Thank you so much. So,
Yeah,
in
so
case
but
there are any
I
other
will tell you that if you can just write to me, I will see that what are the queries, and we can see that where all we can help you in terms of demystifying all those queries and how you can respond to that. That may be helpful. That how you can respond to those queries, what that mean, or maybe like if you need any further explanation of those queries, we can have a detailed call on that.
That would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So with that, we come to the end of this particular very useful, full of knowledge webinar by the two learned co-panelists here, Madam Harsha, Social Impact Assessor, and Mr. Kaushal Kumar from National Stock Exchange. And we are planning a few more webinars in the coming days. Just keep checking out our mails that you will receive in due course of time. And we're going to have these small, short, crisp 1-hour webinars on various other aspects of social stock exchange in the coming few weeks. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us and sparing your time for being with us in this webinar being organized by ICMEI Social Auditors Organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.